Hi, my name's Althea Alexis, and I am a New York-based actress. Oh gosh, the toughest thing was to kind of figure out what that means. I'm originally from Washington, D.C., and I moved to New York to pursue a life in theater and TV and film and all that this world would afford me. My journey kind of started in a different way, I guess, a non-traditional way, we'll say. And I started out, and give you a little background, born in Washington, D.C. My parents are from Guyana, South America. They always stressed education. And my dad was an engineer. My mom studied liberal arts. Both went to Howard University. So when I was coming up, education was top of mind and not necessarily creativity and the arts. And so when I kind of had to make a decision on what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, I always knew I wanted to be an actress. I just didn't know what that meant. And for me, I couldn't get a grasp on how to pursue it, where to start, because there's no formula. There's no one way of pursuing this life in the theater. Some people luck into it. Some people are born into it. And some people find their way by any means necessary. And I guess that was me, because I'm trying to find my way by any means necessary. I have always had an interest also in science. So as a little girl, I remember wanting to be an actress, but kind of scared to admit that I wanted to be an actress because people kind of look at you like, oh, doesn't everybody? But I know I really did. I mean, I had a passion for it. I found every opportunity to perform. I performed in church. I performed at school. I performed for family functions. I mean, I remember getting my cousins and my sister and my brothers together to try and do this little skit. And luckily they indulged me because I was always the child who was told she was too emotional. Well, now that works. So I ended up, high school years for me, there was this desire to perform, and I was always super animated, I guess, because I was always kind of bursting to express myself. And I was a middle child, so I was never heard, so I guess that kind of just fed into it. There was all these things going on, and I ended up taking AP chemistry in high school. And so coming into college and coming out of high school, the decision was, well, do I kind of follow my secret desire that I was too scared to kind of admit to anybody out loud, even though I wanted it with all my heart, or do I kind of do the smart thing? And I guess having parents who are education geared and kind of always said, make sure you get a good education and make sure you get a good job and support yourselves. I'm sure a lot of people out there can relate to that. I ended up making the choice to go into chemical engineering because I kind of started out, I was like, well, maybe law school. Yeah, I'll be a lawyer. Hey, I mean, actually, you think about it, law and performing, they go hand in hand. I know a lot of lawyers who have now gone into acting. And I remember once talking to an attorney, and she said that she thought that everybody should take at least one acting class. And I, in an engineering class, was like the only one. I was like, yes, I know, right? I have. So I mean, I took classes when I could. I performed when I could, but it was always the thing that I did on the side because I never really could wrap my hands, my brain around this as a life, as a career, even though I knew I wanted it. I mean, some people kind of have more of an idea or have a formula laid out because maybe they were born into it, and some people, have parents who are creative-minded and artists who say, oh yes, well just go out there and express yourselves. Well, my parents told me to study. So that's what I did. I did what I was told. But when I got into college, that was the time to kind of tap into some of the things that I was passionate about. And I studied engineering. I actually finished with my bachelor's in engineering, and I was on the path to go to law school like I had set out. But again, I found every opportunity to perform. So I was asked if I would compete for Miss School of Engineering. I was like, well, I don't know. But then they said, well, there's a talent portion. So I was like, oh, really? Okay. So I, again, found every opportunity to get on stage. So I competed and won Miss School of Engineering at Howard University because it gave me a chance to perform. So I did that, graduated college with a bachelor's in chemical engineering, and then made a decision to move to New York because New York had the theater. And New York also had law school. So I was like, well, if I kind of stay on this path and I go to law school, then I'm in the right place. But this was also a chance for me to kind of explore a world that I had always been intrigued by and always wanted to do, but never really understood how. And I felt like a fish out of water. I felt like I was in a world where everybody else knew what was going on, but I was lost. I felt like a little baby, a child. But I went to this casting, and I didn't even have a headshot at the time. Ended up getting cast in the show, and subsequently kind of fast forward, met Woody King, started taking workshops and classes with a couple of other people that I'd heard of, and people referred me to. Barbara Montgomery was one of the people that I started studying with, and then kind of tried to start to understand what life in theater was all about. And if I had the patience and the tolerance to do that, and I did, because it was my passion. And if not now, then when? If not me, then who? So I started to meet people and take classes and audition. And I got headshots. And now I'm in the unions, and I'm pursuing this life that we call theater and film and TV. And I am a professional working actress in New York, and I'm proud of it, and I'm so excited by it. And my mom finally validates me because she saw me on TV. How about that? So that's my life. Why do I continue to do this? Because I'm passionate about it, because I love it, because my heart beats for it. And as an actress, I've gotten to know myself. As I've trained, I've become very honest. More honest with myself and more honest with my world, and I understand my place in the world. And it's challenging being a black actress and trying to pursue this because the roles aren't out there, and sometimes you got to go out and create your own, and no one's going to hand it to you. So you got to get creative and got to think outside the box. So this world is ever changing, and it's ever challenging us, but we continue to do it because my heart beats for it. And I love it. You're watching Black Theater USA.